Ooh. Let's see. Why are you floppy today? Just waiting for this to catch up. There we go. You see, I don't like that. I do wonder if there's a way to tighten this up so it can, what's the word? Tighten it up so it can stay like this more, but for some reason today, oh, that's better. There we go. Right, let's see what this looks like once the stream's updated. I do apologise. Well, I'm saying that there's no one here right now, so I don't apologise, but for those watching on YouTube or that are having to catch up later, this is obviously about 35 minutes late. We were watching the end of Lightyear, so yeah, that's better. And I can just do that. Okay, so today, as the title suggests, we're going to be doing Beedrill. Beedrill is not massive, so he's going to be able to fit here quite easily. It's just again going to be a proportion thing, but realistically, there's room here for everything. I just need to be a bit careful about how we go about it. So what I don't want to do is end up cutting his leg off here. But I'm thinking if we can get that about there, then we should be okay to start that. I'm using my metal pencil again today, just to see. I quite liked it, so I'm just going to see how that feels again today, because while the mechanical pencils are great and very smooth most of the time, I really just like the weight of this. I like the feel of this. So if it's better for me, then professional artists be damned. Right, so let's start kind of here then. Already gone wrong. So that's pretty much the shape of his sort of tiny little head. Yeah, that works. Because then we've got an eye coming out here. Hi, Munchney. Come kind of here. That's a bit too far out. How's everything going today? How are you enjoying your the end of your weekend? That's about to crash on me, isn't it? Bear with me just a moment. Caught it. Apologies there. For some reason, the blind in my office likes to fall recently. I don't quite know why it's suddenly started happening. But thankfully I caught it before it fell and crashed into everything, so. Well, that's good. Well, happy belated birthday. I always find chosen family are a bit more reliable than, or at least a bit more happy to be around than family a lot. But yeah, not much really. My sister had a sleepover with my son yesterday, so me, my fiance, and my friends went. Oh, okay, so it was quite a while ago. Fair enough. Very belated. We went to London to see Mean Girls the musical, which was hilarious. And then it's been pretty much a chilled weekend other than that. So right, let's do tiny. Yeah, that's about right. Tiny little abdomen here. And then I think I'll focus on this first. Yeah, it was lovely actually. It was nice to sort of have some grown up time, and it's our first sort of full day away from him since he moved in with us. So it was nice to have a little break. Let's get this leg over. And Beedrill's legs don't really conform. I feel like I've done this a bit too long, but it's going to look quite good, I think. It feels like it anyway. Like it already feels very Beedrill-esque. I like it. So I don't mind if I've got slightly longer parts of the body. Again, proportion isn't something I'm great with anyway. But I quite like this. Let's get the stripes on. Yeah, I agree. It really turned out quite well. I'm quite happy with it. It's one of those things I say a few times now. Once I have to wait for them to dry to really appreciate what they look like, because it does. It starts off one way and it turns out looking like Kakuna. That's when I really think, okay, yeah, cool, this works. Yeah, it did turn out very well, I think. Alright, then we want to get that in. Okay. there's that. Okay, there's that done, so it's just the wings then. It should be mostly easy. Marks on the wings are quite interesting. And then this one's going to go here, here, and then up here. I mean, they're not the same, but oh well. They're also not the same in the picture, so although they do meet the same height, but you can pretend that this one's being sort of flipped back a bit. Okay. So I'm going to go in again today with the Derwent 0.3, because again I think 0.3 just is the best for this especially. No, this isn't the Derwent, this is the Mipple pen line, sorry. But in lining these, I have found that what I thought was accurate. They're all pretty much the same. I'm sure ink quality's, you know, slightly different. But realistically, as far as can they do the job they need to do, absolutely. I find I'm trying now to do for the Beedrill some, at least for the antenna, the arms, the legs, slightly more what's the word? Not wobbly lines, but kind of less of a steady hand is needed. There we go. So if we start with of course they are made to be kind of like wispy. Right, and then we've got this little sort of part there. I'm finding less and less need now, at least with Beedrill, not so much with some of the others, but less and less need right now to kind of restructure or reshape as I'm lining, which of course is something that I had done, you know, a few times before. Was having to, not having to, but was that kind of editing as I lined. But that's, at least with this drawing, and maybe it's because I'm not rushing as much with Beedrill, but at the very least with this drawing, that's not needed. I'm happy with where we are and what we've done with Beedrill at least. So not this bit here, but hopefully when colouring they'll even out a little bit. Though I am going to slightly move the wing up on this side just to try and match the wing on that side a bit more. And this one's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna waft over slightly because again I do always panic, always panic that I'm gonna rub into a line and smudge it, which of course I don't want to do. And then let's get these to meet again. Okay, so we kind of want this one to come down to here still. And this one will start there and come down to about the same point, because that was fine. From his that's going to go up into that one. that. And that, apart from a little sort of dimple there, and this kind of in there, as well as a little elbow bit there. That's just done. Now we can go to the fun part of colouring. Once we've rubbed this out. So okay, so I think we focus on, I think, body first. And I already see a colour that, and again, with this colour testing, it's really strange because one, the colour's always slightly different on this paper than it is on the actual sketch paper. Two, the colours never match the lid. But actually, that's worked out really well. So the deco time is hopefully going to get a little bit of use again today. That's too orange. Let's have a look at that. That's a bit too brown, but could work. I'm thinking of... That's kind of perfect. A bit dark, but I've been going a bit dark. I think olive green is strangely the right shade for me for the shadow. I'm just wondering, is that... I'm going to try fresh yellow actually instead for the base to see if that's a bit better. Oh, that's... Yeah. And put olive green back. So we're going to go for the main body. Oops. Lemon yellow for the base colour, fresh yellow for the shadows. And then I need to obviously do the bands of sort of black, but they're not going to be black. But let's at least get sort of started with this. So this is lemon yellow, and it's almost a pretty perfect shade for Beedrill's base colour. Oops. I think we'll do the body, the bands, the legs and arms and antenna, then the eyes, then the spikes, then the wings. I think is probably the best way to... I mean, it really doesn't matter which order we do it in, but that's how seems to me like the ideal way. Still don't love brush nibs, but I feel like I am getting somewhat more control with them as I've been practicing. I say practicing, we've been doing this, which is practice really. I think it's just a case of moving it closer. Next week's a lot of sort of admin stuff. We've recently had the end of sort of proceedings for our son. So next week's a lot of visits and meetings and getting everything kind of done and signed off and finished and ended. So it's not a lot of plans apart from the usual. But the plans that we do have are all kind of crucial and sadly forced. What about yourself? That'd be good. Get back to a bit of normality. Would this leave you very behind in your studies, or have you been doing some stuff while you've been at home? Oh. I think I just messed up. Yeah, I just messed up. I was going to use fresh yellow as the shadow instead, but I ended up using mustard because I hadn't put it back. So that's my bad. But actually, it turned out alright. It turned out not that bad. Yeah, I understand. I mean, where I work. Obviously, I'm off at the moment on sort of parental leave, but we have the option occasionally of working from home, and it just I'm the same. There's no way I can focus really. I wouldn't be able to. That's why I don't take up that option. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go in and do the antenna, arms and legs. I'm going to use Cool Grey 4 and Cool Grey 5 from the Deco Time. I do have everything out, so I tend to default a little bit. A, because it's immediately to my right, and B, because I'm much more used to working with them a little. I think is possibly why. It'll be interesting actually, because I'm going to be using a few different greys here. I think I'm going to go with the normal blue greys for the wings, but the sort of stingers, the arm stingers, have kind of a greenish tinge, and I'm going to have a look through and see how many or what kind of green greys I've got, because I've got a couple in the Artex that look from here, from a glance, like they'd be alright. There's only one in the Decotone green grey that I've got, and that's green grey 9, so it's a really dark one, that's not going to work. But we're going to have a look through the Ohuhu ones as well, and see as well in the wings which ones I've got, because I think for some reason in my head some light green greys are going to work the best for them. Beedrill's an interesting one. I feel like the developers like him, but just can't include him as much because A, he's an early bug, and B, they've kind of let the power creep get over him, so no sort of real important trainer could necessarily use him unless it's early game. But I feel like design-wise, Beedrill's great. I don't think it needs a regional or a convergent, and it's got his mega, so we're likely going to see him in at least Legend ZA again. And maybe used somewhat prominently, which would be interesting. But that's a have to wait and see moment, I think. Oops. Whoopsie. Okay, so Core Grey 5, and we'll just start on the shadows here. It's not as dark. There is a Core Grey 7, but something tells me that might be too dark. Is it? Or is it actually going to be okay? Yeah, do you know what? I think I'll go in with Core Grey 7 just to make sure it's noticeable but also consistent with the other shadows, because the other shadows are on the body noticeable. And again, to avoid using the cartoonish word, more vivid, vibrant. There's no point having shadows that don't match the other shadows. You're sitting there thinking, why are some shadows so faint and some so strong when it's all the same light? And that would be a valid concern for anybody, including myself. So I think that might actually help with the green greys for the I keep calling them like pointers for the stingers, and I don't know why. Oh, I should have left some there, but yeah, I'm glad I changed this up. I could possibly even have gone Core Grey 5 for the base colour instead of Core Grey 4, and then gone over it with this, because this is quite a bit darker, but then that kind of matches with what I normally have done, and what I've done with, as I say, the body. So Like a thin line. There we go. And then cool, they're done. Okay, so this green grey is obviously going to be way too dark yet. Now, do I have green greys? Yes, I've got green grey there. Green grey. Cool grey. Cool grey. Green grey. Let's see. Let's look at these as well. Okay, so oops. I've got, I think, 3 options really that I like. That I'm going to try at least and see. So from the Artex Alps, I've got green grey 3 and green grey 5, so I'm going to try those out and just see what I think of those together. Right, well, green grey 5 could work actually. I was about to say it's too dark, but then that's the first one. They're not bad. So I've got the regular Oahu, the Oahu range. I've got green grey 30, green grey 80, and green grey 90. So I'm going to try those as well. I mean, green grey 30 is really dark already. Yeah, they're not going to work. They're not going to work. So look at those back in. And then from the colour range, I've got these 3 yellow greys, 20, 40, and 150. I can already tell 150 is way too dark. But yellow could work for what's needed. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So that turned out well. So I'm going to go with the colour range because that's just a bit better. So, what have we got? So we can go broad with this, to be fair. We're going to go in this with, as I say, with the yellow grey, and then the dark yellow grey for the shadow. It's just the fact that it needed a different grey. It's clearly a different tone than the wings. The wings are very similar to like eyes and whatnot. The stingers are almost like a metal, and in the artwork have kind of that yellowish, greenish hue, little tint to them. But the green ones were just a bit too dark. Possibly if I had the full range of shades of any of these, then yeah, it would be amazing, but work with what we've got. And what we've got is, that's you know, that sounds like I've got 3 marker pens, but I have more than enough to get by with the colours that I have. So okay, let's go in then with Yellow Grey 40, and again this is from the Carla range. And we're gonna it's not a massive difference. It's noticeable. It's not a massive difference though, and I just think the next one I've got then is Yellow Grey. Yellow Grey 150, which would be too massive a difference. There we go. Okay, I think what I want to do next is the bands, and they're not quite black. So I'm thinking yeah. So I was thinking cool grey, but they turned out too similar, Cool Grey 7 and Cool Grey 9. Again, this is from, I've just turned to my right and grabbed them, so I'm going to get, this is from the Deco Time range. I'm going to use Warm Grey 7 and Warm Grey 9 for the bands across. Is it the thorax? Is this the abdomen? I don't quite know. Insect anatomy. That intricately. I know the words for some of it. Okay, so go on this slightly lighter. For the base colour. And then we'll come in and match the shade with the darker shade. So that was Warm Grey 7. And then yeah, let's match this. It's not a huge difference, but it is a noticeable difference. Okay. Next, I think we'll do the eyes. I quite like that, but that's quite red. Then the eyes are quite red. Let's try these two. Then there's quite a oh, that's a good one. Yeah, so let's keep that. So that's coral red. That's going to be basically the shade, the shadow colour of the eye. I just need like a dusky kind of pink. Maybe not rose pink. Is that a bit too pink? Yeah, it's a bit too pinkish. I need more of a. Let's try this dark blush. It's better. It's a bit. I'm gonna keep it here in case. I've got pastel peach, but I've got a feeling that's gonna be too light. Yeah, it's a nice colour though. Let's try, what's this? Red bean. That is dark. What's this? Dark pink. No. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, put dark blush back. Dark blush in there. So I'm going to use coral pink for the base colour of the eyes. I just need to remember to... The whites of the eyes I'm really not very good at. When it's shine, at least, if that makes sense. When it's regular, you know, is it the sclera? The white part of the eye? Well, that's not too bad, as long as I don't go over it too much with the next colour. So then the shadows I'm going to use coral red. So we're going full coral. But if it closes up too much, obviously the inks do bleed slightly. If it closes up too much, I'll add some on with the chalk pen. Okay, that looks pretty good. So all we need to do then is to go in with some blue greys. I think since we haven't really used them, let's see if I can do that with the Artex. I don't think they're that bright, as in dark. No, that works. So we're going to go with Blue Grey 3 and Blue Grey 5 from the Artex pack. No, I do want that. Yeah, that has started to bleed in a bit too much, so once it's dry and we're off camera, I'll fill it in with a bit of chalkboard pen just to brighten up the white again. I do need to get a pretty decent white gel pen at some point. I've watched a few videos on sort of the best white gel pens, or white pens anyway, for art, and I just have to choose one that I like. Because for the amount I use it, like, it's not imperative that it's the best, but it needs to be noticeable, because the pen I've got is literally a writing pen for dark paper, so that's not gonna work, and hasn't worked when I tried it before. The best thing so far is the chalkboard pen. Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually quite happy with it. It's not often, as I've mentioned sort of a few times, it's not often that I like the image before it's had a chance to sort of dry and settle into itself. But I really like this. I like Beedrill as a Pokemon, to be fair. Maybe that's why. Maybe the more I like a Pokemon, the better I do it first time round. Who knows? Subconsciously sabotaging myself on the ones that I'm not as big a fan of. Although I love Butterfree, and I didn't really kill it on the eyes there. So. think it's normal, isn't it? To subconsciously do better at your favourites. Let's wait till we get to like Mankey and Primeape and Paris and Parasect and see. We'll test it out there because they're some of my favourites. Probably my favourites from Gen 1 anyway. And Pidgeot and Pidgeotto and Pidgey. Oh, that's done. I'd say the only thing... Obviously they're alcohol markers, but the Artex markers do have a bit more of a an alcoholic smell to me when colouring. So this is when I do wish that I had some in between, because this is BG Blue Grey 5 from the Artex range, and it is quite a big difference. Sometimes I do wish that I'd have sort of every colour if they make every colour, just because a Blue Grey 4 would have been much better here. So there's not much shade on here, it's just kind of the silhouette of the other wing below. I use Instagram. It's just a personal Instagram. They're not one for this. But feel free to message me on there. It's dan.w. The word dot, so DANDOTW. Discord. I have Discord. I don't remember what my username is on there. I would have to use this phone that I'm recording on to find out. But let me see if I can without pausing the